wheel of morality, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn.
Hello everyone, I welcome you to the Milestone 2 Group Podcast. We're going to be discussing overcoming challenges and pitfalls in the writing industry. This podcast is presented using the film strips theme in iMovie. Taking a look at various ways technology can be an asset is our primary focus of this podcast. Now without further ado, let's meet some of our fellow writers. We have Christian, Siobhan, Connor, and last but not least, myself, Alan.
No, it's time to learn the day's lesson.
For any aspiring creative writer looking to publish material, they will have to be on top of the mounting transformations of the publication industry. However, it can be difficult to weed out and understand the most relevant and important changes. In this video, I will be highlighting some of the challenges and pitfalls of these trends and how to overcome them. One prevalent trend in the publishing industry is that companies will tweak a publishing contract every 6 months to reflect an ever-changing business environment. Sometimes these changes can undermine the rights of the author and/or take their work in a business direction they may not desire. Any writer that is considering signing off on a publishing contract should do their due diligence to ensure that they understand what rights they're granting the publisher and what they can expect to be paid. Optimally, they would hire a good agent to negotiate these contracts for them. The role of agents, however, is evolving. Traditionally, a writer could expect an agent to take a 15% commission on every book they sell, but with the advent of self-publishing and digital-only prints, sometimes it's not so cut and dry. The best route to take in this sea of complications is to just stick with good old tradition as much as you can. In any case, writers should look for an agent that is transparent and upfront about how all deals are handled. Social media as both a creative and marketing tool has given writers a lot of advantages in building an author platform, but it has also complicated matters. Audiences, brands, it can get all a little bit much, and the distractions it causes may do you more harm than good. The best advice might be just to get your foot in the door first. Build your platform by writing and publishing in outlets that are a good fit for you, and after that, you should have a better idea on how to build a platform surrounding your work.
After a writer has overcome the distractions and successfully penned their novel, knowing where to go next is always the hardest part. In this video, I will discuss several challenges and pitfalls new writers face as they strive to get their work out to the public and how they can overcome them. Lack of networking is something that hinders a lot of new writers. Once they realize their talent and come up with a story fit to be a novel, they think that's it. But it's not just what you know, it's who you know. New writers should join writing groups and subscribe to websites that are strictly for writers like the Writer's Digest. This is a great way to build relationships with other writers and professionals in the industry, as well as get feedback and constructive criticism before being published. New writers often fall into the lure of big-time publishing expectations and immediately seek to hire a literary agent. Agents can be beneficial if you do your research and find a really good one. However, if you link your work to a bad agent that is not client-concerned and more focused on putting money into their own pockets, it can cause your project to stall. The use of social media is especially important to new writers who are trying to build an audience. To build a following, an inspiring author should be connected to every social media site and advertising on them daily. Things like Twitter, Facebook, and even Instagram can help you build a following or an audience that will be interested in reading your work. It is important to find a balance between marketing and branding and honing your craft and your manuscript.
There are many common mistakes and pitfalls that can befall a writer that may be new to the industry. It can sometimes be more difficult than anticipated for a new writer to get published and make a name for themselves. In this video, I'll be going over some of these pitfalls and how you can avoid them. Many early writers are under the impression that they can write a first draft and get it published with little to no editing. Most of the time, however, writing something just once isn't enough. Every novel you've ever read has been the result of countless rewrites, edits, and drafts. If it's worth writing, it's worth rewriting. It's very rare that your first draft will be perfect or even presentable. Even pros do rewrites, so amateurs especially should be doing revisions and edits before sending anything in for publication. While some people think their first drafts are good enough to send in for publication, others are never quite happy with their work and leave them sitting in a file on their laptop forever. It's important to know that you're your own worst critic. If you're not sure about the work, have someone you trust read it and give you their honest opinion, then change it how you see fit. It's important not to give up after one draft and to submit your work once it's complete. Don't worry if it's not perfect, and you have to be willing to accept rejection. The important thing is to try and get your work out into the world. Some new and young writers put their work up on blogs and other free services and expect the big names to discover, hire them, and buy their works. However, this usually doesn't work out. You need to get your works out there professionally before you can expect a big executive to just knock on your door. It's by far a better option to get your work published in a professional journal or magazine just to make a name for yourself before you start trying to sell novels. You have to learn to walk before you can run. Once people are familiar with who you are and what you do, then they'll begin to see your name as a brand that they can trust with their dollars.
And the moral of today's story is... Elvis lives on in our hearts, in his music, and in a trailer park outside Milwaukee.